Aloha, scholars! Today is Tropical Tuesday, so I have my beach hat on, my sunglasses, and I'm wearing a bright shirt that I bought in Hawaii, so I think it's very tropical. I want to see what you're wearing for Tropical Tuesday, and you can even post your pictures on Padlet. So on Class Dojo yesterday, I put on a link to go to Padlet, and our whole school is on Padlet, so let's check it out. If mom and dad click that link, you could put your photos of what you're wearing. So these are what other scholars or other Hanson Huskies are wearing. And that was yesterday for red, white, and blue. So today I want to see your tropical outfits. And if you want to post a picture, you click on that Padlet link from yesterday, click on the little plus button down here in the corner, and you could put your pictures of your Tropical Tuesday outfits, okay? All right. Well, this is fun. I can't really see in the sunglasses because it's not very bright in here, but let's see if we can do it. Okay, we're going to kick our day off starting with a reading lesson. So, to prep for our lesson, you're going to need a MultiFlow map, and this is actually the first time we've ever used a MultiFlow map. So, it looks like this. So, mom and dad could go to Class Dojo, go to Thinking Maps with the light bulb, and if you scroll down, you'll find the MultiFlow map, and it looks like this. So 3 boxes that are pointing to a big box that are pointing to 3 little boxes. And we use this type of map for a cause and effect, but we'll check that out later today. If you need to pause the video, you can. Go ahead and click play when you're ready. If you want to draw a MultiFlow map, you can too. Just get a blank piece of paper and a pencil, and we'll worry about it later. All right, if you're still watching, that means you're ready to go. Okay, so we are learning all about force and motion, right? Forces in motion. We just learned this yesterday. And this is kind of hard to understand, but we're going to get so good at it over the next 3 weeks. So if you look at the illustrations, you see a whole bunch of different types of motion and forces. So motion, remember, is movement. Motion, movement. I'm in motion right now. If I was surfing, I'd be in motion too. Forces are things like pushing and pulling. Push is a force, pull is a force. Push is a force, pull is a force. Now, our big idea, ding, is what makes things move? What makes things move? Some sort of force, right? So that's what we're studying over the next 3 weeks. And if you look at the roller coaster is in motion. The bike and the rider's in motion. The boy on the swing is in motion, going back and forth. And the rocket is in motion because it's shooting up, right? Let's just do a quick review of what forces are. Forces occur when an object acts upon another. So the boy is pushing the car, push, and the girl is pulling the wagon. Because of the boy, the car is moving. The car is in motion. And because of the girl, the wagon is moving. The wagon is in motion. So the boy is pushing and the girl is pulling. And those are both forces. Motion is when something moves, like you, or is being moved, like this toy on the playground. Okay, so before we get started with our reading lesson, I'm going to go over some quick vocabulary to help us when we read. The first word we're learning is drift. And in this story, we're talking about drifting in the sky. So to drift means kind of like to float. You're not going very fast, but you are still in motion. So it's just kind of up in the air like this, drifting. And this is a picture of balloons that are drifting in the sky. They're rising up, right? But they're not shooting up like a rocket. They're just floating. Or another word is drifting, drift. The next word we're going to hear is steer, to steer. Did you know that your parents steer a car? Yeah. That means they control it using something. So this is a steering wheel, which you can turn it to move. But to steer means to change directions of something. So if you're on your bike, you can steer a bike by turning the handles. You can steer a wagon by pulling it a certain way. So steer means to change directions. And the last word we're going to hear in this story that might be new to you is pilot. And this is actually a person. A pilot is a person who flies. Usually the pilot is the one steering. So if you've ever been on an airplane before, you have a pilot, which is the person that's at the very front of the plane that controls and steers the plane, and he flies it. So a pilot is somebody who flies something and steers it. So we're going to be talking about a hot air balloon today, and a hot air balloon is a balloon that has a basket underneath, and you can actually go in the basket, and the balloon is so big that you will go up with the balloon. It's huge. The balloon is huge. And inside the balloon, there is a pilot who controls it. Okay, we're going to get started with our reading. Our reading is called Up in the Air. And I'm not even going to try to click the link because sometimes it doesn't work. So I have it ready. All right. Go ahead and take a minute to look at the pictures. There's a lot going on. Tell me what you see in the illustration. Let's predict what we think the story is going to be about. Miss Paulino has to take these glasses off. I cannot see. I predict the story is going to be about these balloons, which are called hot air balloons because they use hot air, and we'll talk about that. So I think it's going to be about hot air balloons, and it looks like a lot of people. So maybe it's some sort of festival where they're all flying in the sky. And I see there's a lot of people and a lot of hot air balloons, and it looks like they're on a big field. So that's what I think the story is about. I also see over here a map. And yesterday we talked about maps. We talked about how maps help, how sometimes an author will use a map to help readers understand where the story takes place. So we'll have to look at that a little later. And then I also see some captions down at the bottom. And I also see this cartoon air balloon. And I wonder what that's about. Maybe we'll check it out later. Okay, I'm going to click play on the story. Here we go. Here's the title, Up in the Air. You know, up means up high. In the air is what we breathe.
Up in the air. Imagine drifting high above the ground.
We talked about that word drifting, right? So imagine, use your brain to think about what it would be like to drift high above the ground.
There's nothing but sky around you. You're standing in a small basket under a giant balloon and a roaring fire.
So he's saying, I want you to pretend that you're standing in a basket. If you look right here, there's the little basket. And there's where the people are. So imagine you're standing in this basket, and above you is a big balloon. And do you know what makes the balloon go up? Fire. So there's actually a little fire right here. It's not going to burn the people's heads. It's safe enough, but it's high above them. And the fire makes hot air that rises the balloon. Hot air rises.
The balloon is as colorful as a box of crayons. How did you get up so high?
So that's what we're thinking about. How did we get up so high? Look at these people up here. How did they get all the way up there? There's people in those tiny little baskets. There's a basket there and a basket there. There's people inside of it, even up here, even all the way up here. How'd they get up so high? We're going to figure it out.
More important, how will you get down?
Oh, they need to know how to get down too. Can you imagine being in a basket right up there and you don't know how to get down? That would be scary, but don't worry, they know how to get down. Let's find out how.
Every year, hundreds of people climb aboard hot air balloons at the Balloon Fiesta in New Mexico.
Oh, so this must be what it is. Every year, hundreds of people, I see hundreds of people, do you? Climb aboard, that means into the basket, hot air balloons at the Balloon Fiesta in New Mexico. Can you say Balloon Fiesta? And fiesta means party. It's fitting. Today's Cinco de Mayo, fiesta. So this is a balloon fiesta, which means balloon party in New Mexico. So if you look at the map here, it's showing you where New Mexico is, right there, that little green one. So we're over here in California. New Mexico is this green one right here. And this is a map of the United States. And I can't zoom in on it, so it's kind of hard to see, but that's where New Mexico is. Let's continue reading.
Going up and going down is easy.
So going up is easy and going down is easy. That doesn't seem easy. Look how big those are. I wouldn't know what I was doing, but that's because I'm not a pilot. Remember, the words up and down are opposites or antonyms.
Heat makes air light.
Did you hear that? Heat makes air light. Excuse me. So, because remember I said there's fire in here, and we know fire's really what? Hot. Oh, Miss Paul, I think I'm allergic to these flowers. I have really pretty flowers that my mom brought me one day, and I think I'm allergic to them. Anyways, I'm sorry. So, we know that there's fire in here, and fire is really, really hot. And the hot, or the heat from the fire, makes the air around it warm and hot, right? And that warm air that heat makes the air light, so the hot air will rise, which makes the balloon rise.
The balloon has hot air, it rises. Then with cool, heavier air, it sinks.
Oh, so we know that the hot air from the fire makes the balloon go up because heat rises. But it said cool, heavy air makes it sink. So if they need hot air to go up, what do you think they need to come down? Cold air. Very good.
There's no way to steer the balloon from side to side.
Oh, there's no way to steer side to side. Did you hear that? Interesting.
So don't try to get anywhere. Just drift with the wind and enjoy the ride.
Okay, so he's saying we can't.
The pilot control.
He's saying we can't go side to side, so you just have to drift with the wind. The wind is the force that's carrying the hot air balloon in motion, right? So you're going up or you're going down. Or if the wind is kind of drifting to the side, you are going to drift to the side. But you can't steer. There is no steering wheel in there. So you just go up or you go down. Isn't that crazy? So there is actually a pilot, though, inside the hot air balloon. And we're going to figure out what the pilot does. So let's see. If we're looking over here at this caption underneath the diagram of the hot air balloon. So it's telling you the parts. So this is the hot air balloon. I can't even read it that close. It's too little for my eyes. This is the hot air balloon. This is where the fire is. This is where the people are. This is the basket. So let's see what the pilot, remember the person who flies it, let's see what his job is.
Pilot controls the fire to make the air inside the balloon hotter or cooler.
Oh, so remember, there is no steering wheel. We can't go side to side in a hot air balloon. But how does he steer it? He steers going up or down using the air. Hot air makes the balloon go up. Cold air makes it go down. So the pilot doesn't have a steering wheel, but he steers using the air.
That causes the balloon to rise or fall.
So he's controlling the fire to make it rise, or he's making it cooler to make it fall. Awesome. I think that's it. That is it. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get out our MultiFlow map. And if you want to draw it, I want you to start with doing 3 boxes on the side, and then I want you all 3 boxes to point to a bigger box here. Don't worry about this side here. Don't worry about this side. I just want you to draw, here, I'm going to circle it. I want you to draw this inside my really bad circle that I'm doing. Inside my circle. So do this one, 1, 2, 3, and I want you to draw your arrows that are pointing to the big box. If you printed your MultiFlow map, go ahead and draw a hot air balloon, and I'm going to guide you through. So first we'll start with the basket at the bottom that looks like a rectangle. And then we're going to draw another rectangle up top because that's where the fire is. And we can even draw 2 lines. So it kind of looks like 3 rectangles. And then you're going to draw the balloon, which is kind of like a circle. But make sure it touches because remember it has to touch the fire in there. And then you could draw some lines and you can color yours a rainbow color if you want. This one's red, white, and blue. Yesterday was red, white, and blue day. Awesome. So that is your hot air balloon. Hot air balloon because it uses hot air and it's a balloon. Okay. With a MultiFlow map, we use the map to show cause and effect. So we need to show how the balloon got in the sky. We're going to get to here. We want to know how the balloon got in the sky. To show how the balloon got in the sky, we need to write 1, 2, 3 reasons the balloon got into the sky. So, how'd the balloon get in the air? What did it use? Fire, right? Okay, fire. F. I. But I saying I. So what do you think has to go at the very end? Sneaky E. I'm going to put sneaky E here. Fire. And we even had sneaky E, who we don't say, makes I say his name. Fire. So we have fire, and the fire makes what? Hot air, right? Or heat. So we're going to write heat. E. T. Heat. Oh, does E say its name? Maybe there's an E at the end. Heat. Maybe there is. It's actually spelled wrong, but that's okay. Eat. E makes E say its name. So fire, heat, and who controls the balloon? What's that person again? Oh, the pilot. P. I. Lit. Pilot. And you know what? That's spelled wrong too, but we tried our best. So we have 3 reasons the hot air balloon starts to fly. First reason is there's fire. Second reason is there's heat to make hot air. And the third reason is because we have a pilot. Very good. And we're just going to stop there. We're not even going to go into this section here because we see this fire causes this. This is the effect, the hot air balloon. So the fire causes the balloon to rise. The heat causes the balloon to rise. And the pilot causes the balloon to rise. Very good. Okay, so all you have to do is 1, 2, 3 and draw your hot air balloon. Don't worry about this. You can put a little X in here if you printed your map. We don't need to do these ones. Awesome job. Okay. And that's it for today's lesson. Very good. Okay, so before we end our lesson, I'm going to go back and we're going to talk about force and motion. So we know that what is in motion here? What is in motion? What is moving? The hot air balloons. And where is it moving? Up, down. And remember I said it can drift with the wind. So if the wind is going like this, it's going to drift that way. If the wind was going this way, it's going to drift that way. It's drifting with the wind. So the hot air balloon is in motion, right? And what is the force that's pushing it up? What's pushing the hot air balloon up? The air, right? The fire, the hot air. So the air is the force that's pushing it up. Or what's pulling it down? We could say cool air, but it could be also gravity. And that's really hard to understand, but if you understand it now, you get it. Gravity makes you go to the ground. The reason you can stand on the ground is because of gravity. You're not floating above the ground, right? Your feet are on the ground. Even if you're sitting in a chair and your feet don't touch the ground, the reason you're not floating up in the sky right now is because gravity is pulling you down to the earth. So, what's pushing the balloon up? The hot air. The hot air is the force. What's pulling it down to the ground after? You could say the cool air, or you could say gravity. Awesome job. Okay, that is it for today's lesson. I need to move into long I next. So we have a second review for long I, and then we have a math video. The long I will be short, and the math should be the same as always. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Aloha. Bye-bye.